make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Hello, and welcome to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. So, today, on this great Wednesday, we have a special guest and an actual returning guest, Miss Michelle, the computer lady. She's a certified welder. Look, I just learned that. But also, she's an author of a children's book that, we want to speak about some more. We spoke about that briefly before on the show. And then also, she is a breast cancer survivor. So, we can learn a lot from Miss Michelle, and I can't wait to have her on. So, I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, being productive. And remember, it doesn't cost you a thing to be kind to someone. You never know what one is going through. Don't be the person to push them over the edge because you want to be mean. Keep comments to yourself. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And without further ado, let's speak with Miss Michelle. Hello, how are you? And welcome back.
Thank you so much, Freeman. It's always a pleasure. I have so much fun when I interact with you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out to come on. So, Miss Michelle, the computer lady, for the ones that may not have seen your previous debut on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema, can you tell them a little about yourself and what it is that you do?
Sure. I'm a nonfiction picture book writing author and publisher of the Mommy Readers Collection series of books. I'm also an instructor. I teach computer hardware repair. And basically, I'm a grandma. I have grandchildren and great grandchildren. And what I'm doing right now is, as a breast cancer survivor, my goal is philanthropy. So I'm giving away 1 million books
Mm.
this year. And we're going to talk more about that because you know how much I love you.
Yes, I appreciate it. So, okay, just to give a little history, what made you decide to want to do the children books? To the nonfiction, might I add, picture books for the children.
Well, I was at home convalescing from the breast cancer.
Mm.
And when you have breast cancer and I'm home from surgery and you're convalescing and you're thinking about, am I going to live? Am I going to die? And God was like, stop, hold up, just hold it. I got you. And I start writing these books. Well, I teach them. So I think God just pushed me in a natural progression of what I already teach. And my first book was Mommy is Computer Smarter Than Me. And that's how I started writing books. So it was a gift from God in order to kind of heal myself and go through the trauma of having breast cancer, my breast cancer journey.
Right. And I know before we spoke about, and I hope you don't mind speaking about this, but and correct me if I'm wrong, with the breast cancer, you being a breast cancer survivor, you did not do chemo. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. I
Well,
thought I was like, I'm right about this. I'm pretty positive. If you
you're
don't
absolutely
mind
correct.
telling us a little about that.
I don't. What happened was I got my test back, and my test said, you have a triple positive breast cancer. Triple positive means that whatever medication they give you, it has something to bind to, unlike having a triple negative breast cancer, where they're looking for solutions that they might do chemo or some type of really radical procedure to try to arrest it, but there's no pull or no guarantee. Well, at the bottom of my chart, it said, this report is inconclusive. And I'm like, excuse me? So I go to my doctor and I'm like, Dr. Brown, I need you to read this with me because I want to make sure I'm not having, cancer brain right now. And with everything's going on, I'm not really reading this correctly. And so we sat down and read the pathology together. And it says this report is inconclusive. Well, I asked my oncologist, I said, I'd like to take the Oncotype DX test. This test pinpoints the breast cancer that you have because there's 40 different types of breast cancer. And
Mm,
she was like, no, I think we should go ahead with the chemo. Let's get your port put in. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I want the Oncotype DX test. And then we were like, well, what if the insurance company doesn't pay for it? I'm like, I'm waiting because I just have this thing that I don't think, number one, I knew I was going to take chemo. She
right.
gave me 5 years. If that was what it was going to be, then I would take my 5 years and live my life and do the things I wanted to do.
Mm,
But something told me I need to get this Oncotype DX test. And so I had been researching. I had even researched the kind of medication I would take depending on the breast cancer I had.
oh,
So they give me the Oncotype DX test. The insurance company okays it, which is awesome because the test was like $7,000.
whew,
But chemo is $70,000 out of pocket for me and another $120,000 out of pocket for the insurance company.
mm,
So it comes back that I only have an estrogen receptive cancer. Well, I've been keeping up with this because I told you I did a lot of research.
right.
The CDC and NIH had a study going on of over 10,000 women that had estrogen receptive breast cancers. And they found out 76.7% of them did not require chemotherapy because estrogen receptive cancers don't respond to chemotherapy in most cases, not all, but in most cases. And because mine was a early stage cancer,
Mm-hmm.
we caught it early.
Call it early.
Absolutely.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I just wanted you to share that with us for the ones that may not have watched, the previous time you were on, because that's just an amazing story to me. And then a lot of people either don't take the time out or just are not knowledgeable enough to do the research themselves, learn about things, and just don't take that first word for it and do exactly what they tell you to do immediately. So I know somebody needed to hear this tonight.
Well, that's the point. And what I tell all women is number one, you have to be your advocate because you guys are a team together. You work with your doctors. But the more knowledge you have, the easier it is for you to talk to your doctors and understand some of the procedures and some of the protocols that go on with going through breast cancer. This journey,
Hmm.
you don't have to do it by yourself. The other thing is, there are several good organizations, including the American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen, and there's actually a women's breast cancer support group online. And they
Mm,
have a lot of literature that you can read that will help you discern what's good for you.
that's
But
good to know.
make sure, number one, you read. Number two, advocate. Number three, know what's going on with you. If you're not feeling comfortable, just tell them, stop. No, I need a moment. Don't let anybody pr- pressure you into anything. Because I remember my doctor, and she's like, well, why aren't you taking chemotherapy? I was like, I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you, this is my body, and these are the things that I'm going to do for me.
Right. How long ago was this?
I've already reached my 5 year mark, and
Okay.
my
Okay.
last pill just last year. So
Wow, that's
really, really happy about that.
yes, that is definitely something to celebrate about. Kudos to you. So you said this year you wanted to give away how many books?
1 million.
1 million books. That's a lot. What's your plan? How are you going to go about doing that?
Well, it would be a lot if it was all printed books. These
Hmm.
are ebooks. These are digital.
Okay. Okay.
And so what makes it easy is no matter where you live, no matter where you are in the world, you can get a book simply by going to the mommyreaderscollection.com, and we'll discuss that. But this wonderful picture book is in a PDF form. It comes to you no matter whether you have Apple, Android, no matter if you have a PC or a Mac, you can get this book
Right.
and share it with a child that you love.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And where can look? I'm already asking. Where can they locate this? Is that something you're putting out now, or that's like further?
No, it's out right now. And my website is T as in the, M as in mommy, R as in readers, C as in collections, U as in United, S as in states.com. That's the Mommy Readers Collection US.com. You
Mommy
go
read.
there and you go to ebook, and it has on the page where it says limited sign up, put your name and email address. Through the magic of technology, it's all an automated process. We'll send you an email back with the code that you use and the link. You go there, it takes about 30 seconds, and you have a book download. And
Okay.
it doesn't matter where you live. You can be in Canada, you can be in Australia, anywhere in the United States. Doesn't matter. You can get a book for a child that you love.
Okay. Now you mentioned early on that you're grandma. So what does your grandkids think about the books that you've written?
Well, they love it, number one, because all the grandchildren get to be in a book. My children are in there too, but all the grandkids get, their name is going to be in one of the books and they'll be one of the characters in the book.
Oh.
And that leaves a living legacy to them. So, like my first book was my brother was in it, my brother Mikey. So
Mhm.
it was dedicated to him. This
Okay.
book is dedicated to my granddaughter Julie. And then every grandchild will have, or every child will, like my son, he'll be in there. My daughter will have a book. Everybody will be in a book somewhere, and they'll have a character that represents them.
So I wonder how, the little ones once they get older, or, do you think they feel like, oh my goodness, I'm in a book, I'm in the limelight, I'm a celebrity. Like, are they taking it to that?
No, I
No.
think they're really enjoying the stories, and you have to remember, and now my grandchildren are all adults now. My
Oh,
youngest
okay.
grandson is 19.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have great grands now.
You got great grands.
Right. So them seeing themselves in a book, to them, it's special, but not in a way
Not
of they're famous.
got it, got it. I'm thinking little people, little grands running around. You got
No, no, no. What can I tell you? All my kids are adopted. I adopted my oldest. She was a teenage mother when I adopted her, and then my other ones came through my previous marriage. So
okay. Okay. Well, that's something else that's great. It takes a special type of individual because everybody doesn't have that, that would want to do that. So that's even great. I knew you were a great person when I met you, virtually, of course, but
well, God is great, and the thing about it is, the one thing about children, it doesn't matter where they're from, and I have those children, but I have a lot of other children that I've taught over the years that have seen me and they've reached out to me because I used to be a mentor for the Job Corps program. I work for them. And so when you can make a positive impact on the life of a child, then you should take the time to do that. You should always just think about where you can lead this child. And
right.
long as you do something really, really good, it comes back. Because one of my students, she reached out to me and she was like, Miss Cox, is that you? They call me Miss C. Miss C, is that you? I've been, because I used to make them do word a day. We do a different word every day, try to build their vocabulary.
Right.
And she was like, I've been working at the post office for 25 years. I'll be retiring soon. And I always remember all the things that you gave us. And so when you get those things back, it gives you that everlasting smile on your face.
Right.
And you know that you're going in the right direction and the purpose in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it feels, like you said, it feels good, an everlasting smile, a good deed. It's just, I don't know. It just does something to you internally. I wish everyone could just feel that way with not just, children, but just in life, period. Something that moves you.
Well, I had really good examples. There was our neighbor, we called her Aunt Titi. But she wasn't really our aunt, but she kept me while my mom and dad worked
Mm-hmm.
and my brothers and sisters went to school. So we had a village that was helping. And I'm just following the good example that I had. A friend of mine's mom, she just made transition,
Oh,
Mrs. Hardy, and she was one of our community mothers. And we have to go back to making sure that our kids have community mothers where they can come. If mom and dad are working somewhere that's safe, they
Safe.
can get a meal, somebody help them with their homework. These are very, very important things, especially in these times.
So, how do you feel? Like you said, in these times, and I don't know if you noticed where you're at, but you probably hear about it. Um, it's kind of hard to have that village now. It's kind of hard to you want to be there for other people, but then you might get reprimanded or fussed at, or it become argumentative if you do go to someone and try to maybe help with their child or give them some feedback of what you noticed. Everybody doesn't have that old fashioned mentality, because our neighborhood, everybody was like, okay, everybody's at this house, that's how we were. But now it's kind of hard. I don't know if it's the generation. I don't know if it's just our generation of moms or there are younger moms now who just don't understand that. But what is your thoughts on like trying to get that back, a community type mom or environment to help with the children?
Well, number one, it depends on your neighborhood and where you live at. Number two, you have to be open to it. People
Hmm.
always have to be open to it. Like where I'm staying at now, the house I stayed at, there was I used to do a senior share, and there were two little boys here, and so when mom and dad would go out, I would keep them in exchange for room and board. It was reduced. And
Hmm.
this way, it helped them, but it also helped me, and it helped the kids because I was able to help them with homework. I could have a hot meal on the table. You know, I could help just nurture them.
Right.
But people have to be open to it. And the other thing is, there has to be a level of trust that gets built.
Right.
It's not automatically ascertained. When I met the parents and they came in town, we sat down, we ate dinner together, those kind of things, and we built those type of relationships.
Mhm.
And those are the things that people lack now because we're not building as many relationships. But it really depends on your neighborhood.
Yes.
Good neighbors do that. When you move into a neighborhood, some of the first things you should do is start to meet your neighbors, know who they are, know them by their name. The other thing is establish, what happens in your neighborhood.
Mhm.
Okay, you got kids. We used to live next door to a mom. She had four daughters. Her husband went back to Africa, and she ended up being divorced. And so we would help with the children. And now they're in college. The last one's in high school, but they're all going to college. But it was that little bit of help that we were able to give. Mommy's tired. Okay, let me watch the baby while you get a nap. Let me help you clean. Let me change some diapers for you. You got to go to work. Bring the kids over. We'll put them on the bus. Once people are willing to help you, and there are a lot of people that are willing to help. The thing
Mhm.
about it is, you don't have to pressure anybody. You build those
Right.
relationships, you build those trust relationships. But remember, everybody's human. The biggest part of that is giving grace. And when I say giving grace, allowing for error,
Right.
because we all have error.
Absolutely. And one thing that I want to bring up when you mentioned, you have to build a rapport, you have to build a relationship. A lot of people aren't or are not living in one area for a long period of time either. As far as when I was growing up, we've been here since we were little. Before I went to college, we were still in the same neighborhood, so that plays a part too. It's hard to build a relationship if you're not staying there for at least for a long time until your kids go off to college or something. So that does play a major part too.
Well, yes and no. I'm part of a military family. And with
Oh.
military families, you move. But the thing about a military family is a lot of times, and this is what would happen is we'd have a liaison from the
Mm.
military and we would be placed with another family from the area. And they would in turn adopt our family.
Wow.
Now, when I grew up, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, because we moved from Boston to Mississippi.
Hmm.
And so Mr. and Mrs. Lewis and their family they were our host family. And we've been lifelong friends, me and Audrey Lewis. And I'm going to show her this. We've been friends for 59 years. We
Wow.
were crib buddies. We've known each other since we were 9 months old.
Wow.
And so our families actually had staycations together and they had parties together. And my brothers and sisters were friends with their brothers and sisters. My mom was her best friend's mom, and my dad and her dad hung out. And the men in our neighborhood, they actually went out hunting because there were 6 of us in our family, and she had 10 kids.
Sure.
So they would go deer hunting, and we would sustain ourselves off the meat that they killed or fish that they bought in. Those kind of things. Now, do they do that today? Some communities still do, but if not, it doesn't matter even if you move around. The
Hmm.
thing about it is start to develop relationships and be open to the prospects of relationships. And I'm talking about I know people from all over the United States that I've been lifelong friends with. High fee out in Texas and people out in California and people out in Nevada where I've lived at. The one thing is if you're kind to people, they'll be kind back to you. And it's just a little kindness when you spread it. Will you be able to help every family? No. But that one child or that one mom that you help is going to be amazing. And even if it's for 6 months, it
Right.
doesn't matter. You helped a child go to the next level, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And it seemed like we just went all off, not necessarily off topic, but I just love the way you speak and give insight on certain things. So sometimes everything, I'm a strong believer, everything happened for a reason. So I felt that conversation needed to be had. Hopefully it did help someone. Or maybe help someone say, you know what, I'm gonna lighten up and allow people to help me because I need it or it's okay. Something along those lines.
Well, I
Because
remember
some
being
of
in
us don't like to ask.
well, I know. I remember being in a restaurant and a couple brought in a baby, and I'm just goo goo gaga with babies. I'm your traditional grandma. I like being a grandma. They brought the baby in, and I was like, just bring the baby here. And I'm like, y'all eat. I'm holding the baby. I can hold the baby, eat at the same time, never miss a beat. And they were eating and have a good time. And then right after they finished the meal, I brought the baby back, and they were like, "You want a baby?" I said, "I would love to, but I live really far. But anytime I'm in this area, here's my card. You need a grandma for a day or two. Let me
Oh,
know."
that's nice.
It's those things, but
Right.
you never know. I'm not saying that you can do it in every
Right.
situation, but
Absolutely.
the baby will tell you if that person's good or not. If the baby starts hollering, that's not the person for you. Your baby will tell you what's going on. But that
Yeah.
baby was so sweet. And
Mhm.
I just love babies. I love changing them. I don't care if they puke on me. None of that matters. I
Right.
just love babies.
'Cause they're babies. They're little people. They don't know. So let me ask you, with your books, were you up for any awards or have you won any awards or anything with your
I
book?
have. I have. My last book, Mommy Was an Entrepreneur, is a Distinguished Authors Guild Award winning book.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I won in the category from 8 to 12. So this picture book is about a smart mommy teaching her daughter about what her and her husband do in business
Hmm.
and about it also speaks to the life of Madam C.J. Walker. Oprah Winfrey's in this book. Bill
Oh.
Gates is in this book. Damon John is in this book. People from Shark Tank are in the book. It shows us entrepreneurs, but it really speaks to the life of Madam C.J. Walker. And so it's one of those things when I got the award, I was like, me? Really? And because you think you do good work, but it's always wonderful if you're recognized by your peers. And there was 36 entries and they started out with 100 entries, 36 nominations, and then 12 winners. And I was one of the 12
Oh,
winners.
wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Keep up the great work, which I know you will.
Oh, absolutely. I love writing. It wasn't my first, it's not my trade. Like I said, it's something that God gave me, but
Right.
the books keep coming. I'm looking to do a major fundraiser this year for our public hospital here. So I've got a lot of things going on
Oh,
and I'm just enjoying it. Got a new book that popped in my head the other day. So I'm working on that because I write nonfiction STEM. And when we talk about STEM, we're talking about science, technology, engineering, and math. Those books that relate to technology because I'm in technology. I was in IT for 27 years.
oh, wow. That's a long time. That's a long time. I know who to call if I have an IT question.
I have people that call me all the time, but I'm gonna tell you what I tell my students. There's a fee that's associated with those calls. Because if not, I would get literally 50 to 100 calls a day with people calling me about IT stuff.
I,
And I never mind answering a question, but just know that gift cards and steak dinners are accepted.
I understand that. I don't blame you for it. Not at all. So, Miss Michelle, the computer lady, is there anything that you want to discuss that we did not touch on tonight?
Well, let's talk about number one. I've had people ask me because I'm also a publisher. How
Hmm.
do you publish your book, or how do you get your book published, or some of the pitfalls that go along with writing and publishing books? And what I want to tell all the people out there that have a book in their heart, that they want to write a book or God has given them a book. Number one, writing isn't linear. That means it doesn't go in a straight line. It's not, oh, and once upon a time, or we started here. Sometimes your book started at the back, sometimes it started in the middle, sometimes it's just one little word that's a muse for you that
Mm.
gives you that creative spark. The other thing is just write. Don't worry about syntax and all that other stuff. Don't worry about the things that might hinder you in the process of writing. Write, and if you can, write 15 to 20 minutes every day.
Mm.
And
Okay.
just write. Because the more you write and the more you write about your situation or whatever's coming to your heart, the easier it is for your editor and you to work together to chronologically form it to the place it needs to be.
Right. Okay.
Well, you got to remember, in school they teach you, English grammar and this, that, and the other. But a lot of people get bogged down so much in that they don't write from where they need to, and you need to write from here. Don't worry about that, and don't worry about having everything just perfect. Imperfection is the key to successful writing.
Mm. Wow. I never heard that one before, but it makes sense because it'll be more real for you. Like you say, you're not focused on all the technical things. Okay. And I hate to stop you, but really quick, what are some of the things that would hinder someone aside from, worry about grammatical errors and things of that? What is something else that would hinder someone that's trying to write?
They don't think they're good enough,
Oh.
or they don't think, oh, I'm not a writer, I can't do it.
Mm.
Fear, fictitious explanations altering reality.
Mm.
Fictitious explanations altering reality. None of that is real. It's mind talk, or it's something that somebody else is projecting on you. Because you got to remember, everybody isn't wishing for your success.
Right.
So sometimes when you write, just write in quiet spaces and write for you, because you're not writing for everybody. The
Right.
people that you're going to bless with what you have, you're going to reach them. Don't worry about anybody else. Now, I have one more thing.
Mhm.
The other thing is, make sure that you copyright your work.
Okay.
There are easy ways to get your work copyrighted, and also own your own ISBNs. And
Mm.
we can talk about this another day, or people can reach me on my website. There's an email address there that you can reach out to me. But
What is the website and the email address, really quickly, if you don't mind?
sure, it's T as in the, M as in mommy, R as in readers, C as in collections, U as in united, S as in states.com. And it's ask at tmrcus.com.
Okay.
And that way, everybody can get a little something. Because I had one lady, she was telling me that she was writing a book of poetry.
Hmm.
So I asked her, I said, what's it going to look like? Have you pictured in your mind? That's the other thing. What is it supposed to look like to you in your mind? What kind of font are you going to use?
Mm.
How are you going to engage? Have you thought about your cover? Who's going to do those things for you? So little things. And the other thing is, everybody has a phone, right?
Right.
Talk to text. I talk into my phone, text, and I copy and paste that into an email, which I send into a Word document. Anytime I get a muse or something that just sparks an interest.
I never would have thought. I don't know why I would have thought about talk to text rather than just trying to, type or, write. I didn't think of that. And it
Well, you got
probably
to
would.
remember, Oh, lady fingers.
Yeah.
Arthritis. A lot of us older people, we don't do a lot of texting. Young folks, y'all, my little grandbabies, they do like this. And I'm like, y'all make me ill with that, right?
I don't think
That's just because I'm jealous.
I
I can't do it.
but it's for about a week. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just going in hard with like promoting and stuff. And I started getting pains. And I'm like, is it because I'm holding my phone? I'm just going crazy this whole time. And my phone's kind of big. So I'm reaching my thumb. And I noticed. So I stopped. And it's the pain started going away. It starts to subside. And so I'm like, it's really from doing this all day long.
Oh, absolutely. But talk to text, every phone has that feature. You go to Google and you hit the little microphone and you can
Right.
talk to text. And I use OneNote, and you can use Samsung Notes. It depends on what you have, Apple Notes, all of these ways, because you can also record and then you can type it later, depending on what you want to do or have it transcribed. But I find talk to text for me, I get more of where I'm going. And like, I write songs, I write music. So I wrote a country song. In my country song, I was literally driving down the highway and my windshield wiper was hitting this beat in my head. And I had to pull over and write this song.
Wow.
And so I had to do it. I did it talk to text, and it actually came out pretty good. We should be producing that sometime this year. So,
Okay. A jack of all trades.
you know, a blessed person from God giving me all these wonderful gifts. Because trust me, this isn't in my regular wheelhouse. I think my journey through cancer allowed me to be really open, and God really blessed me with a lot of different gifts because
Mhm.
I was willing to receive them.
Right, right. You definitely have to be receptive to it. You definitely do. And a lot of people aren't. I'm not, and I should be. I struggle. I struggle a lot with that, but I'm learning. Like hearing your story and hearing other people's story. I end up having. Why my phone keep wanting to do this? I'm sorry. I ended up having to actually get a life coach. I needed some guidance. I needed somebody to help me out.
There's nothing wrong with that. Also, and when you're really busy, there's nothing wrong with having getting one of the personal assistants. Anything that's going to help you, number one, have clarity and have peace and calm in your life is good. So having a life coach, whether you go have a life coach, you go to therapy, you get somebody to assist you, all these things are not detrimental to who you are as a person. Anything that helps you go to the next level is for you.
Absolutely. 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 I love it. I love conversing with you. I really do. I really do. I know you're a busy woman. Again, Michelle, the computer lady, I thank you for coming on tonight. I thank you for, sharing your knowledge and just giving us feedback and just, just being you, just being you. So I really, really from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming on and talking with me today, this evening. Congratulations on your award. I know you're going to get many, many more in the future. So again, kudos to you. And I know I probably asked you this on the previous segment, but I'm gonna ask again because things change as we go on in our lives. So for the little Michelles, the little computer ladies, or the little authors out there that they don't have the support, or maybe they do, but they don't know how to get started in their journey. What encouraging words would you give them?
Number one, what's for you is for you. Number two, do like I used to do. I used to get a radio, and radios back then were like $3 or $4. They're just the little cheapies, and I would take them apart and put them back together. My father was also a TV radio man, so I would sneak and read his cyclopedias and look at schematics and learn different things. The cool thing about today is we have the internet, and so there's
Mm.
so much information available. But if you're interested, go to mom and dad. It's like, well, I'm interested. Can we get maybe for computers a Raspberry Pi? And
Mhm.
or if you're into coding, there's Kids Who Code. There's so many different organizations that you can join, and you don't have to be in person but virtually. The other thing is, read about it.
Yeah.
Everything that you desire to do, you can read about, because this is Black History Month. It's like,
Right.
let's talk about somebody we know in Black history. Dr. Martin Luther King. Did you know
Mm-hmm.
he authored 5 books?
Oh,
Can you name
I didn't even know that. I'm a grown woman.
can you name one book he authored? Most people can't. So we talk about all the people that are great in this society. Well, I went on this sabbatical one year and I was reading all the things by people that they say they were great. I was reading what they read and some of the things that they wrote. And so Martin Luther King, one of his books is Community or Chaos? Where do we go from here? Strength to Love is another one. And then he has his book of sermons. And there's several others, but I just want to encourage you. This is Black History Month.
Mm.
There is Black History 365. There are all kinds of wonderful publications that we should be, number one, passing our legacy on to our children. Because as we talk about, or people are talking about critical race theory, which has nothing to do with what we have in school, we have to go back to teaching our kids about Black history at home. And that means we need to get those Ebony's and those Essence magazines and Black 365 and the Black 365 calendars and spend some time and sit our kids around us and share that knowledge. That way, we don't continue to repeat the pattern that we know of. And that's when there was a time you could not read as a Black person because if they knew you could read, you would die.
Right.
People fought for you to have the right to read. Slaves built Black colleges so you would have an opportunity education. So we can't squander that. And we can't go along thinking that because our society should be at a certain level, that it is.
Mm.
It's not there yet. That's why we have to keep pushing and keep building each other up.
Absolutely. Have you ever thought about, and maybe you are, and I just don't know, being a motivational speaker? Like, do you speak with you?
I'm not a motivator. Well, you got to remember, I teach. I
Oh,
teach one class a month, and I teach a minimum of 6 students. This is all hands on. I teach at Cellbotics here in Norcross, Georgia, and so that's where I pour it into.
mm,
I've been asked about being a speaker. That's not something I ascribe to. If somebody invited me to be a speaker, I would go for an invitation, but I never saw myself as that. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but my thing is anytime you have these platforms and
mhm.
you have a great platform where you're sharing this knowledge and you're bringing people together, because I watch you. That's why, you see my little likes and comments when you guys go on. You're inviting so many great people from so many different backgrounds, so many different perspectives. So in that, as this catches fire, people have to learn how to, number one, get engaged.
Right.
And I always want to make sure that I make a positive impact, not only for our kids, but number one, so we can talk more because I just love talking with you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I was thinking about doing a women's retreat. I don't me and my life coach, she's like, you should put it together because I really, I come in contact with a lot of different individuals. And I know that's something that would do well. Starting off small, not a lot of individuals. So if I am able to pull that off, I'm definitely going to be, yep. I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you to come, speak, pour into our souls.
I would love to. Anytime, just remember it's COVID.
Right. Right.
Listen here, sister friend. Let me tell you up front. There's 3 cans of Lysol in my car. When I go out, I spray me. I spray my car.
Oh,
I go in the building with my mask on, and I change mask every day. So, or every 2 hours, depending on how long I have to be out where I'm shopping at. Then when I get outside the store, I spray me again. I throw that mask away because
goodness.
I have sarcoidosis in my lungs, and
Right.
grandma is not trying to die right now.
And that my vision was on the beach in the evening, or something. So we'll be outside. So
But even outside, we still have to be careful.
right, that breeze still sending it over our way. So I definitely get it. We'll definitely be safe, but it's not going to be no time soon. But that's something that I definitely want to work on.
Well, please count me in. I would be honored, and I think it would be a blessing to be able to pour in whatever I could give to you.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. I'm definitely going to work on that. And I appreciate you. I really do.
I love coming here.
Look, this won't be the last time.
Well, we've got some big things coming. Like I said, there's a big fundraiser coming up. I will let you know the details and what we're going through and how the planning's going. But we're going to do something big for a hospital that serves the underserved and the poor here in the Atlanta metro area. And everybody that lives in Atlanta knows that hospital. So look out for it real soon. We're going to do something really special.
I've been there a time or two when I used to live in Atlanta, so I'm pretty sure I know the high.
Absolutely. Save my life.
Yes, yes. So yeah, we'll definitely be involved in that, getting the word out. So yeah, just keep us abreast of what's going on, when it's going to take, what we need to do on our part, and I got you.
Well, just one more. We'll be working with the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. Um,
Okay.
was introduced to them, and this is going to be a great. So, like I said, we will keep everybody abreast, but this is going to be big, and we're going to help so many people, and we're going to make sure that our public hospital is here to stay, and they keep serving us.
Right. Absolutely. We need it. We definitely need it. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, Michelle, the computer lady, again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, busy schedule to come and pour us with your knowledge. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And as we always say on Let's Sip and Talk with Frema, peace and love. Thank y'all for viewing.